Welcome back to the Cuyahoga River. Finally back in after like 2 months. I take 10 steps into the river and I look down and I see this. You're not gonna believe this. That looks like a chain. I could be wrong. Let's go under and get it. This is incredible. Unbelievable. You know what, I don't know if it's made out of, it doesn't look like it's made out of silver, but you gotta be kidding me. Just walk right in here and find a piece of jewelry like this. I didn't think I was gonna find anything. Well, my hopes are that after the 3 or 4 months of flooding and everything in here over the winter months, and we're still in winter, it's the end of February, that things will be churned up and I'll find some marbles on the little island over there, which is still underwater. But wow, what a way to start the day. Well, there's all sorts of new junk here. Here's a kettle of some sort. Porcelain, enamel, excuse me, whatever it is. There it is. One of the reasons why I like this time of year is during the summer and going into fall, there's all kinds of green algae on the bottom. Right now you could pretty much see everything in this river. And here's a marble right here. Go down and grab that real quick. Here's a Coke bottle. I'm gonna say it's probably a newer one, but you never can tell until you pop them out of there. Yeah, this one doesn't have any embossing on it. That's a little bit new. I got 2 super cool things to show you here. Here's another marble, but look at that. Is that like a little figurine of a duck? Let's get the marble first. That is a salt and pepper shaker of a little bird. Oh, dropped my marble. That's how they get in the river. Got another marble in really shallow water. There we go. That's a nice one. Here's a cobalt blue bottle. I poked at it with the rake and it seems firm in there, so I'm guessing this thing is probably whole. It's either a bromo seltzer, a milk of magnesia, or a poison. If it's a poison, it usually has texture on it though. It feels whole to me. What is this? Oh, the top salt chip. That would be probably a milk of magnesia. Phillips, yeah, there we go. Right next to the milk of magnesia, I saw this. It looks like the bottom of a Coca-Cola, and it's in there really firm. So, oh, what a shame. Soda water. What was that? Is that a People's Bottling Works? Bottling Company. Coca-Cola. Oh, dang, that would have... Well, it says soda water, but it says Coca-Cola on it too. What a shame. A little bit of a blue design on this plate here. Well, what is this? Is this some kind of a hammer or mallet? I don't know what this is. We'll never know. Another marble. Pop it out of there. See, it's kind of hard to pick things up with these. Oh, that's nice. Got like a sky blue in it. Here's a small milk glass. Probably, it says something on the bottom. Woodbury, okay. And it has the lid. I don't know if there's sediment or anything in here, but I'll have to open this up when we get back to make sure there's no items in it. Sometimes people put little things in a jar so they don't get lost when they're in the river, then they lose the jar. Well, back then, today we would use a Ziploc bag. There's a marble, blue and red. Pop that one out. There we go. Oh, that got a really deep red in it. That looks nice. Little cobalt blue jar, probably a Noxzema. That says what I thought it would say. Noxzema. Here's a half pint, looks like an Akron Pure Milk or the Akron Dairy. I think it's the Akron Dairy. Couple bottles down here. They look new, but we got to check them. This one's a Barkhart beer, so this is going to have some age, and we'll research this and clean it up when we get back. Here's an interesting one. Cork top. It says for external use. Anytime you're searching in the river where you have sticks and debris, this thing was just sitting in the middle of there. I thought it was a slick, but little surprise. Got a couple of interesting items here. This doesn't quite look like milk glass, so it might be stoneware, very small. And then this. It doesn't look like it's broken. So let's look at this first. Small stoneware. That's the smallest crock I ever found. Too bad it's broken. Now to this thing. $19.99. That's about the last thing you want to see when you're finding stuff. That's a shame. That would have been a nice hole. Some kind of plate. I just recovered the wings of a Supermarine Spitfire. British, World War II. Crashed in the river. This marble looks a little different. I'm excited about this one. Look at that. I don't have any of them that are quite like that. Here's a marble that is like clear with things inside of it. I'm not a marble expert. I find a lot of them. Let's have a look. Does anybody know what this is? Or how old it is? Here's one too shallow to go under. Green cat eye, some sort. Another one in the same track. There it goes. What we got here? Blue cat eye. Two color cat eye. And again, that's what you're looking for. Just a little bit of a different color. Here's another one. And that is a red, I think they call it, two color cat eye. Half of a marble. Doesn't get the sound effects. You like my new VCR? Let's see if it works. Fire it up here. Okay, cassette tape here. It's not going in. There we go. From the 80s to the 90s, the Sony Discman. No disc. Well, this was sitting right here. That would have been a good stoneware salt glazed jug. But, you know, it's broken. But right next to it, there's some kind of cork top. I hope it's whole and I hope it's embossed, but you know how that goes. This 1970s banana seat has been in the river since I started river searching, and I flipped it over just to see, and here is a marble. Let's pop that out. Looks like a clear one. Huh. Right under there. I might pull a whole milk out of this trip yet. I think we got one right here. Akron Pure Milk. I know I have these. This is perfect. It could be from 1910 to 1930, somewhere around there. Very nice. Let's hope it's embossed. I just opened this little white milk glass. And there is something in this. It is a chain, and I have no idea what it's made out of. But whatever it is made out of, somebody did not want to lose this specific piece of chain in the river, and they put it in here. So I'll try to clean it up and get an answer on, you know, what it's made out of. It could just be junk, but very interesting. Exactly what I was saying. People didn't have Ziplocs, so they put things in whatever they could to try to stop them from getting lost. Well, we're back from the river, and I can tell you that the water was really cold. It's been about 2.5 months since I've been in the river, and I was using hip waders today. But if I was finding stuff like this in the very shallow water, I could only imagine what's in the deeper water. It's kind of too cold to get in there right now. What's in the deeper water? What kind of treasures and old antiques and stuff are in there? So as soon as that water gets to about 48, 49, just below 50. That's when I could get in there with my 5mm wetsuit and we'll really tear it up and find some nice things. What did we find on this trip in the very shallow? This brassy piece right here is probably some kind of light fixture fitting or plumbing. It has threads right here. So that's probably 100 years old or so, right around 1900. Then we got 2 medicines, corktop medicines. They are slicks. They don't have the company name on them. One of them still has the cork in it, which is nice. The mold seams go all the way up to the top, which means these were machine made in after 1900. But they're still over 100 years old, so I like having old medicine bottles. I think they're neat. The Noxzema jar, judging by the pattern on the bottom, this one is from the 1940s. It could go into the 50s, but I'm thinking this is 1940s right here. Little cobalt blue jar to put things in. Then we got a cork top here, and this is unusual. It says for external use only. I have no clue what was in this, but you could see sometimes these bottles come out really clear and without any scratches or dings in them. If you know what was in this, please let me know in the comments. It is machine made. I'm estimating it's between 1900 and 1920, somewhere around there. We got the 1 pint Akron Pure Milk Company, and it's always good to find dairies. They got a lot of character, and you get the variety of local dairies on the bottles and stuff. I really like the ones that have phone numbers. I think this one on its styling is probably 1900 to 1920. It looks like an earlier one. Or unless you got 28 on the bottom, that could be a date code. It might be 1928. The PM is for Pure Milk Company and not a scratch or ding on it. Can I get it cleaner? Yeah, but for now, it's good enough. Then we got the Burkhart's beer bottle. And I know that this one, because it doesn't have the M for M Burkhart's, it's an earlier one. It's 1902 or before. And it has a crown top, but they still made these crown tops in the 1800s. It was like the mid 1890s that they started this. So it's probably between then and 1902 if I had to guess. Always good to find a aqua beer in the river. I always pick up plate fragments. I have no idea. This one looks older, but you never know when there's going to be identifiers on the back. So if you know what that is, let me know. This one here, I do know what this is. And I was able to get a lot of information right off of this. And I'll bring this up closer in the corner here of the video. But what this is made by a company named Petrus Regalt. It was established in 1834 in Maastricht, Holland. So how I was able to get dates is I know that eventually they changed their name to Petrus Regalt and Company, which is what this says. And then in 1879, they started using a sphinx. I don't know if you could see it, but that's like the side view of a sphinx, and the head would be broken off where the plate's cracked. They used that Sphinx logo 1879. So in 1899, the company changed its name to De Sphinx. So we're looking at, we know that it's using this logo, this Sphinx in 1879, and we know they changed the name in 1899. So we have that 20-year window. So it's somewhere between 1879 and 1899. Good little fragment of plate there. So always interesting. I love finding little clues and putting things together to see about things. What else? This here is after I took a picture of it on Google and it told me what it was, it's a golf club cover. Most of you probably already knew that. It says vintage on the internet as probably 1960s or 70s. So an odd find. You never know what you're going to find in the river. We got the salt or pepper shaker that looks like it's from the 1800s, late 1800s. And I wish I knew more about this piece, but there's no markings that are legible. Too bad the little tail feather was broken off of that. I like finding little figurines in the river. We find figurines frequently. Then this is a Woodbury little cold cream or makeup or whatever that you had on there. But like I said, people went into the river for fun and they didn't have Ziploc bags. This is probably from the 1930s, so we're talking almost 100 years ago. So they're not rolling around with plastic bags. What they got to do, if they have anything, they put it in a jar, a small jar, close it up, and put it in their pocket, and hopefully it doesn't get blown out of their pocket in the river. This one obviously did. To tell you the truth, I wasn't expecting anything more than like sediment in here. I was surprised. I actually dumped it out in the sink halfway, and I looked in there and I saw the little makings of this chain. So it's not made out of any precious metal, but you know, this is a jar from the 1930s. Somebody thought it important enough. Somebody thought it important enough that they were going to take this and put it in here and it would be safe. But they were wrong. Now I have it, and I'll keep it in the jar just as a reminder of, you know, the adventure that I had today. And then what was really surprising is walking right into the river, and I know it's got to be like stainless steel, but sometimes you have those days where you're like, you get out there and it's like either the first signal with the metal detector or you just walk right upon something. Today was one of those days. So even though I'm not even going to test it because it's not proof marked or anything, so it's got to be stainless. You could tell by, you know, the little rings and stuff what it is. But I'm happy to find it anyway because it's good to find jewelry that easily. So that was interesting. And then I think the big thing of the day was all these vintage marbles that are, I would estimate, between the 1940s and the 1960s. I have found marbles from the like the 1860s, like Clay Benningtons and stuff in the river, but most of them are in that time frame of 40s to 60s. And there's some really nice ones. On occasion, you know, they get banged up and they have a lot of cloudiness to them, but you can find some really good examples that are nice and clean. And I wish I knew more. I did buy a book on the antique marbles because I find so many of them in the river. Like, look at this one. Not a scratch on it. And then this has a little bit of scuffing, but it's smaller than a normal marble. And it just, I mean, they're pretty good. You got all types here. And I know there's probably some marble people out in the audience that know exactly what this is. Yeah, and then I like the really clear ones that have stuff inside them. That's really nice. So digging on a dump is better to find marbles when they're underground. They don't tend to get all dinged up like they do in a river. But depending on if these washed out of the bank recently or if they've been under the river, like not turning and ebbing in the gravel, you could get some really nice ones. Some of them would probably have value. So right now, what we're going to do is induct these into my marble jar. And there's the marble jar, and since I mentioned it, and it is one of my favorite ones, here's this Bennington, and you could tell they have what's called the eye on it, that little black circle right there. That's where the marbles were touching during the baking or curing process or whatever. So these are as early as like 1860. So like I say, you find in the river, you find a good range of marbles. And now all the ones that we found today go in here. And I'm just about full on this jar. Another trip and I think we might have it. Incidentally, today was 16 marbles. That's an amazing day. My best day was 17. And what else did we get as a bonus? I got 16 and a half. I don't count the one that was broken in half. And we have this tiny little green button. I wonder what that was off of. But anyway, I'm glad you were with me today, and I can't wait to get back in there. Maybe do some metal detecting tomorrow. Who knows? And we'll see you on the next one. Until next time, happy hunting, everybody.